Mr. Peanut, he spent his life bringing people together. I know he'd be happy that we are all together now.
Yeah.
What is happening?
What is that?
Is that a baby nut?
Just kidding. I'm back.
Where's my monocle?
All right. So we have some recent developments in the story of Mr. Peanut. Good developments. Wow. He's back. Mr. Peanut's back. The question is it the original Mr. Peanut, or is it some baby of the original or whatever? Do we know that Mr. Peanut... They're saying it's a rebirth or whatever. What does that mean, right? Some people are saying he was reincarnated, right in the comments. Brett says he was reincarnated. Like, what's going on with Mr. Peanut? I don't know if it's the original Mr. Peanut or not. Was that original Peanut? I mean, how does that work, right? We just saw it. What's going on there? What's going on? So we have some questions, but spoons up for Mr. Peanut. I'm glad. I'm happy of this development. It's better than him being dead forever. Whatever this new thing is, whatever this baby nut is, I'm happy that, you know, he's alive. So spoons up for Mr. Peanut. I'm going to take a spoon. I hope you eat your peanut butter right now. It's a special occasion. You know, we're in a special time in history to be alive during this time. Okay? You know, we weren't invited to the funeral, but we're getting footage. Like, this is a special moment in history. So we have to honor this moment and learn the secrets of what are going on right now. What's going on with this? We're going to figure it out. We're going to ask some questions, deep questions. We're going to figure it out. Okay? So, let's check on Baby Nut. Baby Nut is doing some things, okay? What's he doing? He's been doing a lot of stuff. We got to figure out what he's doing. He's going to send us some signs and clues of what's really going on here. I want to figure it out. Maybe we'll learn some secrets of eternal life. Dance. Okay. What should we ask Mr. Peanut to do? Give me some ideas, Eternal Life fans. How about send us a clue about how to live forever? That's the question, right? Please. Here, we're gonna check back on Mr. Peanut, okay? I have a presentation. Let's get to my presentation. So far, I don't see anything too... What's he doing? What the heck is that? He's dancing. That's it. Alright, nothing too impressive. I don't see any clues yet. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Alright, let's talk about this rebirth of Mr. Peanut. That's literally what they're calling it on the Twitter, okay? And they're calling it the rebirth. What is a rebirth? What does that mean? Rebirth sounds like it is the original Mr. Peanut. The consciousness of the original Peanut somehow was maintained in this rebirth process. We'll see. I don't know. We don't know. As somebody said in the comments, I asked it, they said, we don't know. Did he resurrect? Is it what is going on here? What's going on? We'll figure it out. This is what, we're on a treasure hunt for the secret clues. To me, it seems more like a resurrection. Because in the commercial, he did say, I'm back. Okay, so it's not just... he's back, literally. Like, the original consciousness of the original Mr. Peanut is back in this Peanut. Baby Peanut. So, it's like he never died, or it's you can compare it to a resurrection or some kind of metamorphosis or whatever. I was saying he faked his death. Clearly, it's not a faked death. He really did die, but now he's back. So I think I was wrong in saying he faked his death. But it's weird the way he came back. Very weird. In the comments, people are comparing this to Baby Yoda. A lot of people have been comparing this to Baby Yoda. Yeah. Baby Yoda. We'll talk more about Baby Yoda. We'll get to that. All right, but I want to get to the bottom of what's going on here, really. So let's get back to this. I have a little bit more of this presentation. So basically, he's sprouted up. He's come back to life through the peanut. This is really interesting. We have to figure this out. It's like, so the tear of the Kool-Aid guy started the rebirth process, some kind of metamorphosis through the plant. Now he's alive again. His consciousness was maintained. I'm pretty convinced of that. So yeah, he never really died. It was a presumed death, or he did die, but now he's back somehow. It's some kind of rebirth. That's pretty much obvious now at this point. I mean, I haven't heard anyone call it a resurrection, but that's what it looks like to me. To me, I wouldn't call it you could call it a reincarnation or whatever. But most of the time in a reincarnation, you don't remember your original memories. But this baby nut seemed to have the original consciousness of the original peanut. That's why he said, I'm back. That's not typical for a reincarnation. So I would call it more of a resurrection. He literally is alive. He never died. If he's back, I knew something like this would happen. I just knew it. I just knew. I just had this premonition. So these are the people at the funeral. I mean, these must be some pretty special people to be invited to the funeral of Mr. Peanut. Think about this. Think about this. How few people got to be at this funeral? I counted 13 nobody people. I don't even know who they are. But I imagine maybe there's somebody special. Then I counted 4, you could call these VIP, very important people. We have Mr. Clean, we have the Kool-Aid, we have Wesley Snipes, and I still don't know who that white guy is. Can someone tell me who this white guy is in the corner? I have no freaking clue who this guy is. I kind of want to know. It could be important. We got to figure this out. So these are all the people that I've counted. I think I counted correctly. We got 13 and 4. So that would be 17 total. They're trying to convince us that it's the same nut. That this baby peanut is the original Mr. Peanut. That's what they're trying to tell us. But we don't know that, right? We don't actually know that. It could be that the original peanut has died, and this new peanut, baby nut, is pretending to be the original. So we have to think about these things. So we don't actually know, the original peanut literally might have died. Mr. Peanut literally could have died. So don't think that you're off the hook. This is still the year of death. Okay, just because we have a resurrection here, supposed resurrection, doesn't mean you're off the hook. I'm calling this the year of death. It's, we don't even know that the original peanut is still alive. He still could be dead. So we have to take that into consideration here. Obviously, they're trying to get us to believe he is somehow alive, but that could all just be a fake. Yeah. So, at this point, we really don't know. And it could be people talk about reincarnation, and they talk about these memories of these little children who supposedly have memories of a past life. Right? So it's a similar situation here. The baby peanut is apparently having memories of being the original Mr. Peanut. He's saying, I'm back, right? But think about this. It could be a genetic memory. Maybe the baby peanut, the baby nut, is picking up on a genetic memory somehow. And it's not he's not actually tapping into the original consciousness. He's not the original Mr. Peanut, is what I'm saying. It could just be a genetic memory. The same thing we explain reincarnation. The same way a skeptical person would explain these reincarnation stories where children are having memories, supposedly, of past lives. So there could be a scientific explanation for this other than like reincarnation, right? Genetic memory. Take that in consideration as well. The question is, will people literally die for this baby Peanut? Okay, when we saw baby Yoda, everyone's comparing this to baby Yoda. We saw a lot of people that were willing to die for baby Yoda, literally. They literally wanted to die for baby Yoda. So the question is, with this baby Peanut, are they going to die for the baby Peanut? Here's an example of some, I think, a pretty idiotic stance that you'd be willing to die for some baby Yoda, but they're literally wanting to die for a baby Yoda. So I wonder, I'm just putting two and two together, are people going to die for this baby Peanut? Here's another person, so willing to die, give up their life for a, you know, I don't want to call it stupid baby Yoda. I mean, it's just I can't understand it. I just can't understand people who would give up their life for a baby Yoda or a baby Peanut or anything. Just, you know, it's your life. You have one life. People, you know, there was articles about it, people wanting to die for baby Yoda. It was a whole trend. And people were making shirts about it. So the question remains, would they die for baby Peanut? Let's check on baby Peanut. What's he doing now? Appears to be frozen at this point. No, he's back. What's he doing? Being a baby. Baby Nut is being a baby, of course. What's he doing now? Now, you know, looking at this baby Nut, right? How can you say it's the original Mr. Peanut at all? It is some kind of reincarnation. I mean, that's what they want us to think. It's a completely new creature. It's a new consciousness. This is not the original Mr. Peanut. The original Mr. Peanut is dead. This is a baby. This is not. They're trying to act like reincarnation is true. The reincarnation people love this. This is like, oh, see, this reincarnation is true. Mr. Peanut reincarnated. No. This is a new person, a new nut. It's not the same nut. I don't think it is. Look at this. How could you say this is Mr. Peanut? Sorry, I don't believe it. I don't believe it, people. We'll check on him later, but let's get back to the presentation. That's the end of the part 1 presentation. Well, I have more of the presentation, but let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I'm interested in what you guys have to say. His cane exploded. His cane exploded. I never saw Mr. Peanut's cane explode. What are you talking about? Where? Where'd you see that? The Dalai Lama claims to have total recollection of all past lives. Really? That sounds crazy. Highly skeptical that he actually... Reincarnation. Wow. What an idea. So many people... Look, I don't judge anyone for what they believe. Belief is not a choice. People don't choose what they believe. It's totally possible. It's totally possible. Hey, look, I'll even say it's possible that Mr. Peanut is reincarnated or whatever. The issue is, if this baby Peanut clearly doesn't remember, if this baby Peanut is reincarnated, right? This baby Peanut, other than saying I'm back when he was originally resurrected or whatever, now it appears that he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't have any recollection of any past life or of being Mr. Peanut. So in all intents and purposes, he's a new nut and the original is dead. So that's always been my issue with reincarnation. It doesn't preserve the memories. And to a large extent, we are our memories. So if you reincarnate, What good is that? You know, what good is that to you if you reincarnate and then you've lost your past lives, you don't remember anything. Like, it's like they never happened. You've died, essentially, and now you're a new person. Like, we are our memories, so if you don't preserve your memories, it's like you're dying. That's why I can't say this is the original nut. I just can't say it. Look at this. He's lost everything. He's lost his memories. It's like he's a vet. It's not him anymore. Sorry. Where is Kane? No, it was the thing they hanged on. A Peanut has the adult voice, but a baby's child's body. Yeah. Now, well, the original, I mean, he had the adult voice for a while when he said, I'm back. Now it's like just a baby. It's just not even talking. He's just goo goo gaga, like baby talk stuff. So he seems to have regressed into pure baby mode. Maybe he had some of the original memories when he first came back, but now he's like regressed into total being a baby. And that sucks. I mean, imagine being resurrected or reincarnated or whatever, but you lose all your memories. Like, that sucks. What good is that? I want eternal life. I want to keep all my memories that I have now forever. I don't want to lose it. You know? He's a GMO peanut. That's an interesting... That would be an interesting twist to the story. A GMO peanut. Ooh, so maybe the new baby peanut will live longer because now he's got gene therapy, basically. Genetically engineered for enhanced longevity. That would be the next twist to this story. I like that. I love that. Plus, being a GMO peanut, it'd be a good defense against being eaten because a lot of people wouldn't want to eat you if you're GMO because they'd be too scared. And rightfully so. You should be afraid of GMO. Tanaka Kao says, the contest who is cuter, baby today or baby peanut? That's the question. Want to do a comparison test? Who's cuter, you guys? Who's cuter? We got baby peanut or baby Yoda. Who's cuter? I don't know. What do you guys vote? Vote in the chat right now. Say Yoda or baby Yoda, baby peanut. Tell me. Who wins? Alright. What are you guys saying here? Epic. This was an epic... I'm so glad it was... really was an epic funeral. If you want to call that funeral. It was the best funeral ever. Resurrection, that's what I would call it. Supposed resurrection. I'm really conflicted about this. Really conflicted. On one hand, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm happy there's some kind of apparent resurrection, but we just don't know what's going on. We don't know if it's the original peanut. They're calling it a rebirth, but I'm just confused about this whole thing. Seems to me, at this point, the original peanut's still dead. This is a new peanut. It's a new nut. So... I don't know. I'm conflicted about it. I'm happy for this new nut, but the original peanut, you know, I guess he did kind of deserve to die. He was a daredevil. He just swerved off the freaking cliff and killed himself. Ridiculous. You know, just to say, just because there was an opossum or some armadillo in the road, he freaking kills himself and then puts everyone in jeopardy, all his friends in the car, in the Nutmobile. Puts them all in jeopardy just to save the life of this armadillo. Retarded. So, Narati says, what if we take baby peanut and make it to peanut butter? It better will be very good protein. Right. Baby peanut butter. That could be a new brand. They should come out with a special edition of baby peanut butter. Corey CS says, instead of wasting time online, I should go outside. Think this is a waste of time? This is very important. This is like a special moment in history. I could just say it's a waste of time. There's only going to be one resurrection of Mr. Peanut, one Peanut funeral ever. And this is it. All right, I'm going to get back to the chat here, but let's finish with my presentation. My very important presentation. So I just watched Taylor Swift's documentary last night. It was really good. It was extremely good, and I wanted to know if she eats peanut butter, so I did some researching. All right, I did some researching. Let's see what I found the answer. There we go.
Crunchy or smooth peanut butter? Hard-hitting questions.
Both. I like both. I'm sorry, I like both.
I only like crunchy. On a scale of 1 to 10.
Do you ever go to Whole Foods and make it yourself?
I have done that before. That
Oh my God,
scares me
it's
too.
amazing. It's amazing. Don't be scared of everything.
On a scale of 1 to
I love that. You know you're a true peanut butter lover when you just can't decide between smooth and crunchy. It's just they're both amazing, right? So there you have it. She's a peanut butter lover. She said, don't be scared of everything. That's a good message, right? People are so scared of peanut butter. I feel so sorry for all the people that don't eat peanut butter because they're so scared. They're so scared of the aflatoxins, all the mold that grows on peanuts, and the acrylamide, the supposed cancer-causing acrylamide, and all this stuff on the peanuts, right? They're so afraid that they won't even eat peanut butter. I feel sorry for those people, that they're scared. Don't be scared of everything, people. Like Taylor Swift said. Gosh, it's just, it's unfortunate that so many people... I can understand if you're allergic to peanut butter. Just the other day, I met a family who their child literally deathly allergic to peanut butter. So obviously, I don't blame you if you're in that situation, but there are ways to cure peanut butter allergies. There are ways. We'll get to that a little bit. But anyways, I thought it was interesting because in her documentary is called Miss Americana. So she's representing herself as that American girl image. And what food is more American than peanut butter? Peanut butter's like the most American of foods. You know, when you think of an American food, it's like peanut butter, of course. So I like that. To end this presentation, I thought to celebrate this resurrection of Mr. Peanut, whatever you want to call it. Here's some of my favorite Peanut quotes. Okay? Harnessing the power of the peanut is about accepting the gifts that nature gives us. Mr. Peanut said that. By the way, peanut butter is really good to build your immune system and protect against the coronavirus that is such a threat to our eternal life at this point. It's growing in America, by the way. There's more deaths happening every day. I don't think people are dying every day at this point in America. Has even one person died? But there's more cases of people who have been contracted coronavirus in America, so it's happening, people. We're still on target for the year of death. It's happening. I'm like a peanut butter sandwich, Gwen Stefani. This is one of my all-time favorites because it's like a metaphor. It's a metaphor for a true peanut butter lover. And then, Milla Jovovich, one of my favorite actresses. If I could continue with the peanut butter, I'd be the happiest mom in the world. She said this when she was pregnant. And she was going around doing a lot of interviews about her pregnancy. And she would often mention that she was obsessed with eating a lot of peanut butter when she was pregnant because... she just loved it. It's one of those foods that pregnant women crave. They're craving it because it is so good for a growing fetus. It's so good for developing a healthy baby. And you should also know that this is actually one of the best things you could do for your baby, your future baby, if you're a pregnant mother. because it's going to lessen the chance that your child has peanut allergies. You're exposing them to the peanut proteins when they're in the fetus, and this is going to create a kind of an immunity to these proteins. It's exposing your baby at such a young age to the proteins, so they're not going to develop these allergies. Okay, or they're going to be much less likely. Okay, so it's a really good strategy if you don't want your child to develop a peanut allergy. Anyways, that's about it. That's my presentation. So you get to get some practical knowledge there. It's important. It's important. Anyways, I'll just hang out a little bit and guess end this stream. But yeah, this has been a really... I'm happy about this development. We'll figure it out. What's baby Peanut doing? Just dancing, nothing special. Nothing special. You know, earlier I was watching this stream of baby Peanut and I saw something strange. Something very strange. Yeah, this has been going on for like hours, by the way. Ever since they streamed the funeral of the baby nut and they revealed this live stream. But I did see something strange. I don't really know what to make of it, but he was like doing these peekaboo thing, and like I saw light coming out of his freaking mouth. I don't know what to make of that, but that was the weirdest thing I've seen. Been looking for weird abnormalities, something weird, something strange that I could point to. That was about the weirdest thing I saw. Other than that, it's been kind of normal. He's just been doing baby stuff. He's been reading books. He's been studying about the most famous peanut. He's been studying about the history of the world's most famous peanuts or something. He's periodically reading a book. Okay. But, I like that idea. Actually, I like the idea of studying famous people because there's something intriguing about people who get really famous. It's interesting. I'm always kind of, you know, and people attach such a negative stigma to like, oh, they think, oh, you're a celebrity obsessed. That just the fact that I'm, you know, so interested in the life of Mr. Peanut, like they think, oh, I'm one of these celebrity obsessed people. You have to understand that like someone like Mr. Peanut is very influential, and when someone is that influential, it's important to know about their life and study them, and because they're such a significant icon in the culture. So if you're interested in culture, if you're interested in society, then it makes sense to be interested in the lives of someone as famous as Mr. Peanut. That's my defense of that. Matt's here. And Transhumania was here. Reminds me of when Groot dies in GOTG. Groot. Oh, people were actually talking about Groot. They were. Look, I was on Twitter, and they're comparing now the three babies, okay? Groot, Mr. Peanut, Baby Peanut, and Yoda. This is the hashtag I've been trying to follow. Baby Nut. Could beat the S out of Baby Nut. Oh, that's what that's mean. What the heck are they doing? Baby Nut. I should reload the page. More tweets. What's the new developments here? What's going on? Kool-Aid. That's interesting they brought Mr. Kool-Aid into this whole thing. He was probably Mr. Clean and Kool-Aid. Mr. Kool-Aid. Huh. The artists are gonna have a fun time with this. You versus the baby she tells you not to worry about. Right. Honestly, I don't think Mr. Peanut's a big threat to the reign of Baby Yoda. I think Baby Yoda will win out the competition, like who's the cutest baby. I think Baby Yoda's gonna win, personally. I don't think Baby Peanut is much of a threat, personally. But, was weird that he was speaking like a dolphin. That's funny. All right. What are you guys saying? I will probably not have this stream go on too much longer. See if anything important. Can you get if something important is said? I hope to figure out something. The point of this is to hopefully find something out, some kind of clue on how to live forever. Something, you know. Get some practical information out of this. If anyone has any, if anyone's privy to any secret knowledge on how to live forever. What's the baby doing right now? What's he doing? I recognize that dance. Alright. Got the monocle, the hat, and the thing. Alright. Mr. Peanut is back. Yeah. Rowan, on a serious note, do you believe in souls? Do I believe in souls? No, I don't. I believe everything is physical in the brain. Yeah, I believe everything is physical in the brain. That's what makes sense to me. Like, the soul is just the brain, probably. At this point, that's what I'm thinking. They did say, like, a lot of ancient cultures thought the pineal gland was the seat of the soul. So it could be that there's something in the pineal gland. I've always thought this, like maybe there's something in the pineal gland itself, or maybe the pineal gland carries the soul or whatever, but it's more of a physical thing. And that's why I'm very skeptical of mind uploading, because how could you transfer the consciousness? Like, what if there's something actually physically in the brain that is completely attached to the identity of the person, something that can't be transferred, something that literally cannot be transferred into some kind of computer components, right? You get computer chips, and people think they can transfer their soul or whatever, transfer their consciousness to a computer chip. What if there's something we can't transfer that's just attached to our physicality, the biology of our brains, the flesh of it? That's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm all about obsessed with living forever physically and never dying, obsessed with not just damaging my brain. I'm obsessed with brain health because I think it's all the brain. It's all, not just the brain. There could be components to our consciousness that is maybe in a different organ. Maybe our heart has some component of our consciousness, but I think most of the consciousness is in the brain. Okay. Like, there are stories of people who get like an organ transplant of like a liver or a heart or something, or a lung, and then they take on different character traits of the person they received the organ from. So maybe they received the organ from the liver, or maybe they received a liver from some person who was like really angry and had a temper problem, and then these people now who got the liver, they're showing signs of being more angry and they have a temper because they got the liver from someone. So there may be certain components of our character traits and our personality stored in different organs, but I think most of it's in the brain. Maybe some other organs have it, but that's my answer to that. On a serious note, this whole thing is serious. What are you talking about? I think the spook like a dolphin because dolphins live a long time. Now there's a clue. See? Now we're getting somewhere. The dolphin, using the dolphin could be a clue that he's hinting at longevity. There's a case of coronavirus in Massachusetts. Ooh, see, now we're getting some practical knowledge here. Thank you for making this practical stream. 11 cases of coronavirus confirmed in the U.S. Wow. And we got in Massachusetts. Wow. Did anyone respond to my Facebook post, though? That's what I want to know. No, I don't see any responses. Baby Peanut looks low quality, like an amateur 3D designer would make. I liked the more claymation look of the Mr. Peanut, you know? When the Mr. Peanut looked more like real, less 3D animated stuff. Wait, Mr. Peanut's doing something weird. I'm looking at the Baby Peanut spinning around now. I'll show you guys. Oh, it's just a dance. It's nothing special. He is still an adult. Fun fact, what the soul originally meant was mathematical information of a person. It's what Plato said it was supposed to be. Then people took it out of context. Oh. Interesting. So, like, is that like saying the soul is more like the pattern of information in the brain and the neurons and the physicality of the brain and the formation of it all, how it all works together? So it's kind of like saying the soul is more of a physical thing, right? There we go. There we go. I like what Transhumania was saying earlier in a different stream of mine, where it's like he was saying that it used to be heresy for people to say that there was a spiritual soul that would float up into the afterlife or something after they died. That used to be considered heresy. And I think we should bring back that idea that why would you promote such an idea that there's anything but the physical body, you know, because that leads to all kinds of problems. It's also not assuming the worst case scenario. Why not assume the worst case scenario rather than consider these optimistic things? It's a very wishful thinking, right? To think you have a spiritual soul that would somehow be able to live on after death. That's the best case scenario. Or that there's a reincarnation. These are best case scenarios. I think we should be more focusing and considering the worst case scenarios, right? That if you die, it's over. There is no second chances. That's what we need to be focusing on preparing for. Because you always want to prepare for the worst case scenario. Like, better safe than sorry. That's what makes sense. Thank you for that fun fact. That was very interesting. The mean soul is a very new thing. Soul is a very new thing. I somewhat believe, but like what you said, I want to believe in God so badly, but I can't. Right. And you know what's interesting? That is so important what you said there. That you can't. Belief. This is what I try to tell people. Belief is not a choice. So it's like, yeah, people can't choose what they believe. People can't choose. So that if there was some God, right, you have to consider if there was some hypothetical God that is judging us, and if this life is a test on our morality and how we behave and our actions, right? If we're somehow going to be judged in this life for something, if some criteria is going to be measured as to whether or not we deserve to live forever, and if we're going to get helped, if there is some kind of hypothetical God, we have to consider what would the criteria be? How would that God actually judge us? And logically, it would make no sense for a God to care so much about what we believe. Like, if we believed something or some set of doctrines, or if we believed in this God or that God or whatever God, would the God actually care about that thing? Would it make sense for a God to judge us on what we believe? I don't think so, because like I just said, we don't choose what we believe. So what would it make sense for a God to actually judge us on? our actions alone, just our actions. That's what would actually make sense for a judgment, if there was some kind of judgment. Just our actions. So, there you have it. Logical, right? How can you argue with that? That's logical. But like you said, yeah. Yeah, and people do want to believe, people want to believe that there's the best case scenario happening, right? Like even when you consider God, right? Even God is a best case scenario, right? It's a you could say God is a wishful thinking, because it's just so good if that is true. If we have two versions of reality, one without a God, one without a powerful God, one with a powerful God. What's the best case scenario? What do we want to be true? We want the God to exist, of course. But of course, wanting it doesn't make it true. And people want there to be, they want there to be a second chance. They want there to be some kind of afterlife, some kind of soul. Yeah. But of course, just because it's a wishful thinking that there's a God also doesn't mean there isn't a God. Sometimes the most wishful of thinking could actually be the true thing as well. So it doesn't really influence whether or not there is actually a God. Is what if it's wishful or not, how good of a scenario it is, that it's something we want to be true. Of course, it doesn't have any bearing on whether it is actually true. So that's another thing to consider. Like I hear atheists use that argument all the time. They're like, it's such wishful thinking, or it's such the opium of the masses. Yeah, well, it could be, but that doesn't mean it's not true at all. Could just be in some situation. I mean, we don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know. We have to be agnostic about the whole thing. I don't think all our personality comes from the brain. Hormones all are probably 1% of it. Right. Yeah, hormones are big. That's why people, a woman's personality can change so much depending on when she's having her period or something like. Hormones are huge, right? Extremely huge. Think about the personality differences between some kind of like super high testosterone man, right? Male with their super high testosterone levels, right? And then like a man that would be considered more beta male, right? Or lower testosterone, low T as they call it. Just that, right? That can create a huge personality difference. Just that, right? And that's like testosterone. So you can't argue with that. Hormones are huge, actually. They might be more than 1%. I would guess hormones could be like 5% or 10% or I don't know. It's huge though. Transhumania says we should do body uploads too if we're gonna do mind uploads. Body uploads. How do you do a body upload? What's that? So like, how would that look? You scan your body, recreate the look of it in the cloud through like CGI, right? You CGI perfectly the scan of your body into the cloud. How the heck do you do a body upload? I like it though. I like the idea. Naratu says, yeah, the church believed that there was no direct afterlife until Jesus came back. Oh, there's no direct afterlife of Jesus came back. Oh, interesting. We just sleep until God judges us. Oh, right. Yeah, they believe you're just kind of sleep until the resurrection, and then God will judge you after like the physical resurrection. Yeah, a lot of people thought that the resurrection of people, it's not there's a heaven or something. They That's a lot of old school Christians and religious people thought, is that there's not a spiritual heaven. The heaven is actually physical place on earth, and that there'll be a resurrection of the dead, and then there's going to be a judgment, right? And that's all a physical thing happening in the future. I vibe much more with that, of course. It's more in alignment with what I'm thinking, but I guess I'm still skeptical that even such a resurrection could take place. It would involve extreme advanced technology. It would involve quantum archaeology that is actually working, right? Like that scene from The Fifth Element with Lilu, where they're taking a fragment of her bone and then recreating her whole body from just a fragment of bone or something. Because think about these old people that are dead now and they've been rotting in the grave for hundreds of years. You know, the skeptical part of my mind doesn't think it's possible to bring them back at that point. I could see maybe bringing someone back after like 3 days or something, or some very short period of time where their brain hasn't just decayed and destroyed or whatever, but how do you bring back someone who's turned to dust? You know, a dust. How do you bring back someone that's been cremated? How do you bring that person back? Oh my gosh, Mr. Peanut is sleeping. He's sleeping. Mr. Peanut's trying to tell us that to live forever, we have to sleep. We have to have a good sleep strategy. What's your guys' sleep strategy? Fill me in on something amazing I can do for my sleep. Who's eating their peanut butter tonight in honor of this amazing resurrection of Mr. Peanut? The criteria by which God will judge us is by our utility to him. Imagine if you created a simulation with 7 billion AIs. What would your criteria for letting an AI join the real world? Ooh, I like that idea. That is like very close to another idea I was considering recently that a friend of mine was telling me about. She had an idea about God and how God would, what would the criteria be for a God to like help you live forever or something. And she was saying that God could be compared to like an energy vampire. That sounds bad when you first think of it, but like let's say an energy vampire that God like feeds on the positive energy of human beings, right? That what I would call muchness, that like that youthful energy of positivity, of experience where you're excited about everything. And like that first experience when you first see a good movie or whatever, you first have those first experiences are more powerful when people are able to be excited, when they're not jaded by life, when they've, you know. So if we can recreate that, if there's maybe God is like getting energy off of us, and so the more we could recreate that youthful spirit of that muchness, of that energy, of that youthful energy, maybe the more interest God would have in keeping us alive and keeping us around, right? Because God's feeding on that positive energy. That would be, like you're saying, the utility to God. That utility could be in our own emotions, in our own ability to be excited, and that could be like, if there was a God, maybe that would be part of the purpose for why God created us. Like we're the part of the entertainment of God, and if we're too boring, or if we've just become jaded and dull, and our whole life is just, if we're not showing any sign of improvement or self-progress, maybe God would just get bored of us. Like if we're essentially God's entertainment, or if we're God's fuel, if he's this energy vampire, right? We want to recreate that muchness so that we're always useful to God in that way. It's just an interesting idea. So basically you want to be like Dora. I want to be like Dora the Explorer with her very excitement. She's so positive of a person. I bet, you know, she's yeah, I could see the usefulness of that. If you watch the movie. I'm talking about the movie. Dora the Explorer movie. Watch it. It's good. Or Tinkerbell. Be that positive, youthful spirit. Or Mary Poppins. Willy Wonka. You know, you can have it. You can have it as an adult. You can have that youthful muchness. Muchness. That's what I'm talking about. You guys know what muchness is, right? What's your definition of muchness? You know what I'm talking about. Muchness. The important theme. Muchness. You've lost your muchness. Don't lose your muchness, people. Yeah, this could be like, right? Imagine God, right? As the Mad Hatter. And he's looking down at you and he's like, you've lost your muchness. You used to be much more muchier. And then God's like, ugh, I'm done with you. You're not much. You've lost your muchness, you know? We can't let ourselves lose our muchness, or God might not care to keep us around. Basically, that's the gist of it. What website are you on to see him? Twitter. Mr. Peanut has a, oh my gosh, things have changed on the Baby Peanut thing. Periscope. Mr. Baby Nut has a, look at that. The camera's changed to green. Oh my gosh. This is just the mode that's like, they couldn't figure out any more things for him to do. They didn't want to waste time programming and doing more programming for having him walk around, so they're like, let's just make him sleep for like another hour, you know, to fill time. It's a time filler. People are saying this is creepy. They're like, this is creepy. Get up. All right. Was there any more cool Super Bowl commercials, you guys? Did you guys watch any Super Bowl commercials? I only know of this one. When it happened, there was a friend of mine watching the Super Bowl, and like as soon as it happened, you know, I got notified. And that's why I was able to create this stream so quickly. I needed to know. But yes, Rowan, I'm having my peanut butter. Good. Naratu is having his peanut butter. We got. You know, I guess send me a picture. Just send me pictures of you guys eating peanut butter. I'll put them on my videos. How's that? How's that? Who else here in school in the morning? Has school in the morning but can't fall asleep? Oh my gosh, you gotta get to sleep. You gotta freaking take. You gotta take melatonin, man. That'll help you sleep. Melatonin. That's what I've been doing. It's not good though. I might become addicted to melatonin if I'm not careful. So I heard if you take melatonin too much, it's not good. So we gotta get our red light. But maybe Mr. Peanut is telling us we gotta get our green light. You know? What's going on with that? What if this is a clue? What if there's a green? Of course, it makes sense. Green light therapy. What about that? What about that? We know the benefits of red light. Do we know the benefits of green light? What about blue light? There's a whole science of color therapy we gotta figure out. That goes deep, man. Color therapy. Yes, the power of youth. So many people are so jaded. I just try to enjoy being young and positive about art and school. That is so awesome. Never lose that, man. Keep that youthful, you know, just keep it, man. It's so important. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. That is, somebody said that. Somebody said that quote. I don't know who said it. Somebody did. Naratu says, another thought that if when we die, we just go to another universe. Right. Like a different Mandela effect. You go up a level, you go down a level. Who knows what's going on? What happens? What happens when we fall asleep, you know? You know who said that? Who can tell me? What happens when we fall asleep? Where do we go when we fall asleep? Who said that? Billie Eilish. When we fall asleep, where do we go? What's she talking about? What is she talking about? I think she's obsessed with death. This is a metaphor for death, right? An analogy. Falling asleep. She's not talking about falling asleep. She's talking about death. She's obsessed with it, man. She wants to freaking live forever, probably. But a more important question is how do we not fall asleep? That's the more important question, because we can't know what happens after we die. So how about what's really the thing to focus on? Not dying in the first place. Never finding out the answer to this question. This is the question you don't want to find out the answer to. If there's any question in life you never want to find out the answer to, it's this question. Because then if by the time you're finding out the answer to this question, it's too late. And you could be entered in a permanent state of non-existence, oblivion. Because that might be what happens when you fall asleep. It's like Yoda. You never wake up. It's a forever sleep. That would suck. That would suck. All right. Transhumania's definition of muchness is basically Heidegger's concept of authentic Dasein, or Nietzsche's Übermensch. He's such a philosopher, man. He knows about all these like philosophical people and concepts that he's always referencing. Where you break free of social expectations. What would you do if you didn't have to be somebody's bitch? Oh, I like that. Yeah, like children aren't obsessed with what people think about them, right? They have extremely lowered inhibitions. They'll just do whatever. They'll completely free to be themselves. They're not worried about expectations and what society thinks of them, what people think of them. They're just totally authentic. I agree. That is a big part of muchness. Completely agree. That's a good one. I like that. That's definitely a part of it. Or does he see different things? E. Narati says, I really don't want to forever sleep. Just darkness. Maybe death is an everlasting dream? Question mark. Or nightmare. Yeah. Darkness would be the worst. Forever sleep, man. Freaking forever sleep. The worst thing ever. And then, you know what's interesting is like Yoda acts like it's some blessing. Think about this, okay? What's Yoda saying here? Soon I will rest. Yes, forever sleep. Earned it, I have. What's he really saying there? He's saying it's some kind of blessing. That's what he's saying. He's acting like this is a good thing, that it's something he earned. Like it's a positive thing now that he's gonna die, and well, they probably didn't. I don't know. It's pretty bad. That's deathist. Freaking Yoda. Freaking Yoda. Yoda pisses me off, man. Pisses me off. Yoda's a deathist. You know, he was against fear. He was against fear. Just don't fear. I mean, fear is good, but just don't fear peanut butter. You know, don't fear to be like eating peanut butter. Sometimes you have to take a little leap of faith, a little bit of risk. You know, it's like Indiana Jones taking that leap of faith, walking off the cliff and stepping on an invisible thing that would lead to the other side of the cliff. You guys know what I'm talking about? Watch, I'll show you guys. Indiana Jones, invisible, I don't even know what to call it. An invisible thing. See? He stepped on the invisible thing. And that's what it is to eat peanut butter. It's like, yes, there's all these dangers. It's scary. I get it. The aflatoxin, the mold. It's scary. I get it. I get it. I've been there, people. But it's like stepping on this invisible thing leading you to the other side. You know, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, the angel of nutrition, she told us. What did she tell us? She told us that eating that mold, that aflatoxin that grows on the peanuts, she said that can have a benefit, a health benefit. That's what she told us. We have to listen to that. Because he is a baby. Did Yoda say anything to oppose the Empire Strikes Back? I don't know. I don't know much about. I don't know much about it. I'm still debating, like, what is the actual good side in the Star Wars? You know, I'm starting to think the dark side. The dark side is the good side because they're the side that's red light. You know, the dark side, the red light, man. Blue light, that's, you know, the good side is supposedly the blue light. The blue lightsabers, that's supposed to be bad for us. The red light is what you want. Oh, okay, but they say blue light has its benefits as well. That's true. So maybe there's a balance somewhere in the middle of the Force. Anyways, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for contributing to this conversation so that it's not just me talking and that useful things have been said here tonight, and hopefully we've learned something. Hopefully this has been productive and somebody takes home some kind of thing they can use, some kind of message, some kind of helpful information that can help them live forever. That's the point of this. This is my best thing closest to the think tank for eternal life that I want to create in the future. We're gonna have a think tank. If you want to be part of the think tank, this is what we have so far. It's just this, you guys in the chat, me doing these live streams. We're gonna do better. We're gonna do better. That's my goal. We're gonna have a real think tank. If you want to be part of that eternal life think tank for really figuring out the secrets of eternal life, then join. Like, really join what we're doing and join the email list. Talk to me. Reach out. We'll figure it out. Okay, we'll figure it out. But this has probably gone long enough. Thank you very much for joining. And may you live forever. Spoons up. Spoons up for eternal life. Oh. Good night.